Hi guys, it's Jenny, and today I've got a flow to do for you which will open up your whole body but with a more focus on your hips and your hamstrings. So we're going to start off, just take a big stretch up, reach up as high as you can, take up loads of space, upwards, outwards, just stretch up, and then fold forwards and just see how your toe touches right now. So you might be a little bit higher, you might be a little bit stiff, that's okay, we're hopefully going to be improving that soon. So, very first thing, bend your knees if you need, plant your palms, step back to a downward facing dog, and just pedal the feet. You don't need to have your legs straight, you can bend your knees. If you want, you can bend your elbows, just do whatever feels good. Switching from side to side, bending one leg, straightening the other. From there, round forward, leading with the upper back, tucking the chin into a plank pose. Lower the knees, lower the hips, point the toes, and we're in a cobra or an upward dog pose. So this first little section, if you've done yoga before, a lot of these poses you'll already know. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. We're going to take a walk up to the mats, the top of the mat. So 1 foot at a time, start to walk your feet towards your hands. If you can, try and keep your legs straight, but if you need to bend it, that's okay. 1 step at a time, all the way up to your hands. Bend your knees round all the way up. Lifting, reaching up. Fingertips touch at the top, and then we'll go again. So open it up, fold forwards, however low you can go. If you're at your shins or your knees, that's fine. Bend your knees, plant the palms, step back, downward facing dog. Moving around a little bit, bending your knees if you want to, or you can try get them straight. Round forwards, leading with the upper back into your plank pose, knees down, hips down, chest up. Really push up and through, so don't let your shoulders drop down to your ears. Push up, lots of space between your shoulders and your ears. Then sit back, tuck your toes up to your downward dog, and then walk forwards again. So trying to keep the legs straight if we can, trying to keep the hands where they are if you can. Just stretching the hamstrings. Challenge yourself a little bit. Bending your knees round up 1 vertebra at a time, all the way to the top, reaching up. And exhale. Fold forwards. Step back. Downward dog. Should be getting a little bit easier now. Maybe you're finding it feels a little bit more comfortable. Rolled forwards. Into plank. Knees down, hips down, rolling around, opening the front. You can look up, look back a little bit if you want. And then tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. One last time, 1 foot in front of the other, walking up to your hands. You should be feeling a little bit more open. You might find that you're much closer to touching the floor, touching your toes than you were before. Bend the knees, rounding on up. Nice and slow, take up loads of space as you reach up. Stretch up. And relax, cool. So that's just getting the hamstrings and the back. Really nice thing to do in the morning. Really nice just to get your posterior chain stretched out. So we're going to come down onto the bottom, onto the floor, wherever you are, and go into a long lunge. So 1 foot is out in front, 1 foot behind, and just then go as deep as we can. So we're trying to get ideally like a straight angle between our front leg and our back leg, but if you have to be up here and it's more bent, that's fine too, just go wherever you can. So nice and low in our long lunge, hold that for a few seconds. We're going to tuck the back toes, sit our hips back to our heel, and now we're stretching this front hamstring in a runner's stretch or a half split. Good. Flexing your front foot will help stretch a little bit. If you point your toe, slightly different stretch, but if you flex it, we get a stretch in the calf, a little bit more in the hamstring as well. Bend your front leg, come forwards again to your long lunge. You can have your hands wherever you like. They can be on your knee, on the floor, or behind your hips even, if you just want to go for a little bit of extra. Then tuck the back toes, sitting back to your hamstring stretch. Same again, your hands can be wherever they want. They can be on the floor. You can grab your foot if you like. You could even be, sitting with your hands on your hips. As long as you're feeling a stretch in your hamstring, that's okay with me. Then go back forwards to our long lunge. You even have your hands up in the air. Being all yoga about it if you want to. Tuck your toes, sit back. Main thing with this hamstring one, if you are going to touch your toes, don't just round forwards and try and grab it, reaching with your arms on your back. The most important thing is that your hips sit back and you get a stretch. Grabbing your toes is really not important, I'm afraid. Forwards to your long lunge. You can lean over to the side a little bit. Get a little bit of a side stretch in. Multitasking. Always good. Last time sitting back to your hamstring stretch. Excellent. Then we'll just switch sides. So you can go through a plank pose if you want, with plank. Bring that other foot forwards, or however you like to stretch. And we do the same thing on this side. So first of all, we get long, we get low, get deep with that lunge. And then tuck the back toes, sitting back to our hamstring stretch. Be thinking about, instead of thinking about rounding and reaching, think about trying to go forwards with your chest. Almost like your chest is trying to get to your foot. Through to your lunge. And then back to your hamstring stretch. Long torso, hips back, chest forwards. Then through to your lunge. Side stretch if you like. Nice and tall, nice and big, nice and open. Hamstring stretch. And then lunge. Maybe do a little back bend. Hamstring stretch. And then last time into your long lunge. Reaching back, a little twist. Anything you want to do, we're just opening up that hip. Final time sitting back into our half split. We're going to stretch, hamstring stretch. Cool. So come back forwards, and however you want to do it, we're going to get into a squat. So I'll just use my hands as support, pop my back foot forwards, sit into a squat. Obviously I can get quite low. You might not be this low. That's okay. Just moving around, see how it feels. We've only really opened up hamstring and hip flexors, so it might feel a little bit tight still, but just see. How do you do? And then hands behind you, pop yourself down onto the floor, and we're going to go into a little bit of rotation, hip rotation. So good old 90-90 position. Front leg is in external rotation, back leg is in internal rotation, and we're going to actually start off quite easy. So put your hands behind you, bring your feet to the middle, and just pivot on your feet so that we switch which leg is in which position. So we're not doing full switches. The effort is taken out with our arms and our feet down the floor. One thing though, don't just roll your whole self over, because that's taking out the internal rotation of this hip. So keep your torso fairly upright. It's a bit relaxed, but do it a little bit. This is kind of a warm-up to the proper 90-90 that we're going to do in a second. Cool. I don't know how many that is. Have you been counting? Anyway, we'll say that was enough. So we're going to come to 90-90 proper. So put your front foot out in front of you, front leg, at 90 degrees, back leg at 90 degrees. You can even flex your feet too. Ideally, then we're going to switch without putting our hands on the floor or on our legs. But if you need a little bit of support, that's okay as well. Just switch side to side as easily and as smoothly as you can. We're trying to minimize torso movement as well. Obviously, I'm moving my torso a little bit. If I was being super strict, try and move it less and less and less and less. Just let my hips move. But basically, you're not, leaning all the way over to the side to accommodate the movement of your legs. You're trying to get the movement to come from your hips rather than compensating with the torso. One more time each side. And then we're going to do a little bit of a challenge with it. So we're going to now try and slow the movement down. Again, you can move your hands if you like and see, can you pick up that leg and go through a controlled rotation through, almost as if you're coming through to a cross leg position. As this foot lands on the floor, pick up your other leg and see, can you nice and controlled externally or internally rotate that leg. Might get a little bit crampy. Then reverse it. Pick up this leg, externally rotate as it comes round. As that foot touches the floor, this one picks up and then internally rotates, place it down. So try not to put it down on the floor until you've already got it in the right position. Picking it up, externally rotate. As it pops down, the other leg comes up, internally rotates and down. One more time, picking it up, rotate, foot on the floor, other foot comes up, rotates and down. Easy peasy. If you needed to use your hands for that, no worries. Just maybe next time you get a little bit less support from the hands. Okay, so we're going to move on to now a little bit more dynamic hip movement. A little bit of balance required for this one and a little bit more ankle flexibility. So first of all, just come to a push-up position and we're going to step our left foot forwards. Some SM members might know where we're going with this. This is a deep lunge position. So we're going to see, can we get our elbow down to the floor and reach up. Then instead of doing another rep, we're just going to put that hand back, rotate around so our back foot comes onto its heel and try and sit into this front leg. So now we're in a Cossack squat. So you may be a little bit higher up, you might have to come up and just go like this. Or if you want to stay low, you can lift your heel. Ideally we want it to stay down, but just while you're learning, that's okay. Then put your hands back down, rotate back to your deep lunge, do a rotation, then rotate forwards, Cossack squat. Rotate round, rotation, deep lunge, elbow down, reach up, then round, rotation, Cossack squat. So this hip is getting everything at this point, deep flexion, and then some squat work, rotation, balance, ankle mobility. One more time, deep lunge, rotate, and then switch it. The back leg is getting work too, of course. We have extension and stretching our adductors as well. So let's switch to the other side now. So you can use your hands if you need to, or just switch over. Then through to your deep lunge, elbow down, reach up. Know what you're doing this time, rotate yourself so you're facing forwards, sitting in Cossack. Then rotate back, elbow down, reach up. Then boom, Cossack squat. Hands down, deep lunge, elbow, reach up. Hands down, rotate, Cossack. Again, you can be higher up if you need to, or your heel can be lifted if you need to. Deep lunge, elbow down, reach up. Hands down, rotate Cossack. One more time. Hands down, deep lunge, elbow, reach. Hands down, rotate. Excellent. Just standing up with your legs wide, so keep your legs wide, straighten them up, reach up, breathe in and breathe out, forward fold. So that was a little bit more dynamic, hopefully warmed up the hips after a little bit of stretching. Now they're a little bit more loosey-goosey in general and should be feeling good. If we retest our toe touch, you might find that it's a little bit more comfortable than it was right at the start. Yeah? Got your breath back? Cool. We're going to move into our last one, and it's a fun one. You might want to watch me do the first one just in case, but we're only going to do it a couple of times, so you go pick it up. You go. So, start off in your plank pose. We're going to go into a side plank on your left hand side. Then you're going to take your top leg, which is your right leg, and put it behind you. And then you're going to look up at the ceiling and just push your chest up to the ceiling. Drop your arm back and stretch. So it's kind of like a thoracic bridge. We just get into it a slightly different way. And then roll back to your plank pose. Side plank on your right side. Step your left foot back behind you. Push your chest up to the ceiling, pushing out through your bottom arm. Maybe your top arm drapes over you. And then back to your side plank, to your normal plank. Then side plank on your left. This time we'll see, can we step back a little bit further and maybe rotate a little bit higher. So we're going to try and get the chest pointing at the ceiling. Reach your hand back. And then bringing it all the way back to your plank pose. Side plank on the right, left foot steps a little bit further back. Chest up to the ceiling, if you can. No worries if not. And then back to your plank pose. Then you put your knees on the floor. Set your hips back to your heels. Place your forehead on the mat or the floor and just breathe. Bring your torso up so you're sitting on your heels. We're just going to do one last little walk. So back on all fours, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and a final walk one step at a time. Legs straight if they can. Maybe this goes a little bit better than it did at the start. All the way to your hands. Give yourself a sway. Grab opposite elbows with your hands. Sway side to side. Bend your knees, rounding all the way up, nice and slow. And when you get to the top, just reach up. Take up space. Get as tall as you can. Stretch. And relax. Cool. So, that was our flow to do. I hope you're feeling awesome afterwards. And I hope you feel nice and stretched, nice and loose. Your back, your hips, your hamstrings, your shoulders, even a tiny little bit of core at the end just with this plank rotation. So, hope you feel awesome and have a good day.